Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. The Chelsea squad 23-24 tier list is back for round number 2. We recorded this about 11-12 days ago now, taking a look after I think it was the game against Wrexham, Chelsea's 5-0 pre-season win. We took a look at the squad, we look at the players that we think we should build around, and a lot of people said, how have you got Kepa in the build around category in a Chelsea squad tier list video? Well, the fact of the matter is, 12 days ago, it looked as though Kepa was going to be the number 1. Still to this day, when Chelsea is still linked with goalkeepers, unfortunately, if you don't like Kepa, it still looks as though Kepa is the number 1. So we've got to build around him. The goalkeeper, you can't play without a keeper, so he's going to be on the team sheet, whether I like it, you like it, or not, by the looks of things. Sanchez from Brighton is the player that we're currently talking about to bring in to put pressure on Kepa to hopefully make him a top tier goalie. We've been waiting for this for a while, but he's there. Without any further ado, we're going to take a look at where we ended that video, the tier list video from 12 days ago. It looked like this. We have Kepa, Silva, Chilwell, James, Enzo, and Christopher Nkunku in the top category. And I look at these and I think these are players that will probably, if they're fit, and as long as there's no massive dip of their quality and form, these 6 players will be Chelsea starting 11 players pretty much for the whole season, in my opinion. The keep category, we've got quite a lot of players in here who are very young. There are players that are in this category that have impressed during pre-season, but now there's only one more game to go, and that is against Borussia Dortmund late on Wednesday night, early for me Thursday morning. And I think now that we're 4 games in to the Pochettino Chelsea pre-season, I think there are players here that maybe haven't done anything wrong, but that I think we're closer to understanding what their futures, their immediate futures look like. So this is what we've got now. We have got 6 players, according to what we had 12 days ago, still looking to be loaned out. Slanina, Gilchrist, Humphreys, Chukwuemeka, Mason Burstow, Diego Moreira. And the sell category, Cucurella, Sarr, Anjorin, Aubameyang, Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, and of course, that man, Romelu Lukaku. We're not going to talk about him any more than we need to. But this is clearly not a completed squad. This is where we were at 12 days ago. And I've got some changes. I think I've got 7 changes to make to this from what we have seen so far during this pre-season. So without any further ado, the first player that gets moved is Trevoh Chalobah. And through no fault of his own, really, he goes from keep into sell. The reason he goes into sell is because Chelsea are very close to completing the signing of Axel Disasi from Monaco for £38 million. And as a result of that, Trevoh Chalobah has been considered deemed surplus to requirements, which for a player that's been at Chelsea his whole career, he's never handed in a transfer request, he's never flirted with a move away. There's been interest, but Chelsea have slapped a 45 million, I think it's euro, price tag on Chalobah, which suggests to me that the Chelsea scouting network, Chelsea Football Club, Pochettino believe that Axel Disasi, the 6'4", 25-year-old Frenchman, is a better player than Trevoh Chalobah. So, for that reason, I don't see a way that Chalobah stays at Chelsea. And again, that isn't through any fault of his own, but weirdly, it's always been an issue for Trev to hold down a place in this team, be that under Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter, and seemingly now Pochettino as well. And I think also the fact that Chelsea know that a sale for Trev is pure profit on the financial books at the club is probably the reason why Disasi coming in, signing a 5-year contract with an option to extend it. Financially, if we can get a similar fee for Trev, then the club seem this is more of a feasible option. My only concern is I don't really know if there's going to be any teams that cough up 45 million. You know, Inter Milan were struggling to buy a Lucasade and a meal deal from Sainsbury's about a week ago. They couldn't afford Lukaku. So how are Chelsea expecting 45 million to be what we get for Trev if we sell him to Inter Milan? Other than that, I guess we're going to see what other clubs become interested in him. The second player to move into the loan category of this Chelsea tier list is Casadei. When we look at the keep category, you've still got Andre Santos and Lewis Hall and Conor Gallagher in that category. Gallagher's really impressed me during this pre-season. Maybe he's still sold. We might talk about him later in the video. Lewis Hall, I think, has just got such a wonderful left foot, be that on the wing, the competence he's got to dribble past players. He's 18 years old, yes, but I think identity-wise, Pochettino can utilise him in different areas. He can be a left back, a left wing back, can play in the middle. He is naturally a midfielder. So I think with Lewis Hall, profile-wise, I think he's more ready to be a part of the squad. We saw him utilised last season under different managers too. Andre Santos, for me, it was Santos or Casadei. And then there were moments during this pre-season where I thought, well, maybe it's Santos and Casadei to stay in the Chelsea squad. But Lewis Hall keeps on impressing me. And I think the fact he can play midfield and left back means maybe Casadei is the one to miss out. And I think for Pochettino's Chelsea, players need to have the capacity to play in multiple different roles. Casadei can do that. But I think despite his height, despite his strength, despite his ability to score goals from that midfield position, I still think identifying more about exactly what type of player he's going to be in a Pochettino Chelsea system will probably become easier to know if he was to get a high-profile loan. Whether that is to a top Serie A club or a Premier League club, I'd love to see him in the Prem. But at the same time, I just don't see there being space for all of these young potential midfielders in the Chelsea squad. There's a player now that moves from the loan into the keep category, and that is Carne Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka goes into the keep. During this pre-season, I wanted to do a couple of these tier list videos so that you guys got a visual representation of where I think this Pochettino 23-24 squad is going. For Carne Chukwuemeka, I just think he's got that mould as a number 10. He can be a brilliant backup to Christopher Nkunku. As well as that, if Nkunku's used as a striker, I think Carne is more direct in the final third. We signed him for 20 million last year from Aston Villa. He's had a year with the squad already. And I think Pochettino will definitely be able to find a place for him. He's going to get minutes in this team. So with Casadei, I still think we're trying to identify what his best role is in Pochettino's Chelsea. Chukwuemeka has really impressed me. And I think of all of the players that I've done my match reviews, 6 things we learned during this pre-season, he is the player, when I look back at everything, that I probably haven't given as much credit as I should have done. And I think he's got a spot now in the team for next season. I think as an attacking midfielder, he can offer a lot to this Chelsea team. Moving into Angelo. Angelo goes into the loan category. Again, like I said a few times here, it's not because Angelo's playing badly. I think there is an element of me here that looks at this tier list and thinks, well, if Sterling looks so comfortable in the keep category and Angelo's moving on loan, like, does that really reflect the performances? Has that really reflected what we've seen of Angelo comparatively to Sterling in this pre-season? If we're talking about it like that, it's unfair. Sterling is on big money. Chelsea might, say if we're going for Mbappe, maybe Sterling is one of the big wage earners that we try and offload to PSG. They might be able to pay his wages. He's not going to want to leave Chelsea with the money he's making now, with the long-term contract that he signed. So Sterling stays, and I think with Angelo, he's still got a lot of developing to do. Pre-season friendlies, even against Premier League oppositions, are not a fair reflection of the intensity of the Premier League, the way it's going to be game after game after game. And I think there's been a lot of rumours that Strasbourg will be the place that he goes for this season. And I don't think that's all that bad. I think Angelo will definitely next pre-season get another chance again to impress Pochettino in that right wing position. Armando Broja, I'm also moving into the loan category. If you haven't seen the other video from today here on GBFC, the Chelsea news video talking about the re-emergence of Dusan Vlahovic as a Chelsea target with a potential swap deal with Juventus to see Romelu Lukaku sold going the other way. For that reason alone, I want that deal to happen. I don't want to see Armando Broja stunted again this season, and for that reason, I think Broja's a good striker. But if Vlahovic comes in, Nicholas Jackson is comfortably sat there in the keep category, and the way he's going at the minute, you could build around this guy. He can be Chelsea's number 9 for years. Christopher Nkunku also can play in that number 9 position. Mason Burstow, we know, is going to get loaned. I don't think he did enough in that cameo performance in the last game to suggest he's ready for this level. Armando Broja, he missed an entire year through injury. We've got to remember this. The kid deserves to be playing football. He's a great striker. I think he'd also be good under Mauricio Pochettino. But if Chelsea are bringing in Vlahovic, then Broja just looks so much further down that pecking order in terms of number 9s that Chelsea can use. So for that reason, I think this year, he can't just be looking for Carabao Cup minutes. He can't be waiting for an FA Cup appearance. He's beyond that now. He's got to be playing football. And I think alone this year, if Chelsea do bring in that striker, which it's looking like we will at this moment, then I think a loan is necessary. The next player to move into the keep category is Axel Disasi. The here we go was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano the other day. I think he's undergoing his medical today at Chelsea, which probably means this one's getting done. It's also the reason why Trevor Chalobah's gone from the keep to the sell. When Chelsea have said we're looking to sell him, Disasi coming in pretty much confirms the exit of Trevor Chalobah. When you look at this squad, we have still got the same 6 in the build around. We're talking about Sanchez coming in as a goalie, but to me, you know, the man can't even displace Jason Steele at Brighton right now. So I don't think Sanchez comes in and immediately becomes the number 1. So we're looking at this. There are 14, 15 players, including Bettinelli still, in the keep category, plus the 6 from build around. That's 21 players, which isn't really enough for a 25-man Premier League squad. The basic maths there suggests 4 new signings on top of Disasi still need to come in. We move to the final player. Ugochukwu is coming in, and at the moment, Pochettino even believes that he's immediately going on loan. So that doesn't make the squad any bigger. It's another player that we've got to try and execute that loan move for. Remember also, Strasbourg may well be Chelsea's arm extension in France, but it doesn't mean we can put everybody in this loan category on loan there. There's a maximum, I think it's 3 or 4 players for one club, from one club, that can be loaned. So, you know, if 4 of those go, I want to say Gilchrist and Humphreys have really impressed me. Cassidy and Angelo, a lot of these players have been impressive, but realistically, there are still players to come in here at Chelsea. And when I look at this tier list at this stage, 4 more players to come in makes a lot of sense. Caicedo leaving 3 more. Maybe Kudus, maybe it is Vlahovic, and there's maybe 1 more midfielder there to come in. And then I think Pochettino will look at that squad and be like, this can be competitive. Chelsea looking to get back in the Champions League. Remember, I think this season there may be a 5th club from England, so it could be top 5 that make it into the Champions League. City will probably win the bloody thing again, so that's one position done. But looking at this, Wesley Fofana is also there in the keep category because we're going to keep him, we're not going to sell him. But it's still looking thin. But at the same time, we haven't sold any of these guys yet. Cucurella I'm keeping in sell because, like, I just don't see it. I just don't get it. He probably won't be sold, but if we get the right offer for him, maybe he should be. Looking at this, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think I've been harsh? Is there too many of those players in the loan category that you think are ready for the squad? But bearing in mind, Chelsea are still linked with all and sundry in the transfer market. I can expect, come the start of the season, end of this transfer window, this squad is going to look even thinner than it is on this screen. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you do enjoy these tier list videos and you're enjoying the content at the moment on GBFC. Subscribe. Oh, that was a very weird way of saying subscribe. Subscribe if you are new. Come on, you Blues.